viral, him dunking on some idiot local reporter. But when you see him in long form, when you see him behind a bar, I too will have a beer because that's what humans do, Steve. You realize it's all a lie. It's all a creation. And so whether it's the billionaire donor class, they can be, America First Light, but not if it costs our widget, an extra cent. We gotta still please China. We gotta totally capitulate to China. Those guys want that. These donors don't often believe in the cause. They believe in control. They believe in that power that served them very well. That's probably helped them make a lot of those billions. And so Fox News is no different. They love having that power and they want some.
That was Kimberly Guilfoyle with her boyfriend or fiance, Don Jr. We've been covering Kimberly Guilfoyle's descent into MAGA madness here on the MeidasTouch Network. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Everything MAGA touches, we see the same thing. The crazy thing to reflect upon is that Kimberly Guilfoyle once upon a time was married to Gavin Newsom, and she was a very well-respected prosecutor in California. I knew lawyers who said that she was smart and that she was great in the courtroom. So to watch this kind of callous desire for proximity to power at all costs and self-degradation has been a sight to behold indeed. And I want to show you some video clips of her that shows just how unwell she is. Of course, there are all the videos of her dancing around, dancing during the insurrection. There's videos of her dancing and frolicking as people are asking for solutions. But let's just talk about the past week, shall we? Here she is saying that Tommy Tuberville, the MAGA Republican senator who's blocking military promotions, was the greatest coach of all time. Play this clip.
And later, Senator Tommy Tuberville, we all know him and love him as coach, the greatest of all time. And
he was a horrific coach. He is a horrific senator who's engaged in traitorous conduct. Here is Kimberly Guilfoyle prepping for her big interview with Roger Stone. Play this clip.
And obviously Jim Jordan and Steve Scalise. Personally, I know both of them very well. But now Byron Donalds coming out in support of Jim Jordan. It seems like the Florida contingent is really coming out in favor of Jim Jordan.
And not just even
I'll show you the portion of that interview in just a moment. Here, Kimberly Guilfoyle is on her podcast. She's a big right-wing influencer on something called Rumble, and she talks about, she just tries to scare people. And she's like, and Democrats are going to lock you all up. They're going to throw you in jail because there's no substance to their ideas. So all they have is fear. Play this clip.
They want to silence dissent, censor political opposition, and throw us all in jail. It's why the stakes have never been higher and why Donald Trump's 2024 campaign is only gaining more momentum, because he's ready to stop it once and for all.
Now here Kimberly Guilfoyle is whining and saying that it's the Democrats and the prosecutor and the judge that they're trying to steal the Trump's generational wealth. They're coming for the Trump's generational wealth. Here, play this clip.
But they can go ahead and grab and seize and dissolve businesses, put it in a receivership. This is really generational destruction that they're going after by going after the president, going after Don Jr., Eric Trump, Ivanka Trump. It's outrageous to me to see what they are doing, all because they want to stop him. So they parade him in there and say, we're going to take all of your property, all the hard work that you've done here as an American, because that's what we do in third world countries. We imprison our political opponents because we don't want to face them in the ballot box. We seize their property and their wealth, and that's what we do. And you have that joke of a judge and that politically vindictive, unqualified prosecutor, Letitia James, in there with this whole clown show. It's like the worst reality show I've ever seen in my life.
No, Kimberly, your boyfriend or fiance, let's just see if he knows about generally accepted accounting principles. which he signed and the Trump organization signed under penalty of perjury that they conform to. This is from his deposition in the New York Attorney General civil fraud case. Play the clip.
Do you have any familiarity with an acronym GAP, G-A-A-P?
Generally accepted accounting principles, yes.
Okay. How did you become familiar with that acronym?
Probably in Accounting 101 at Wharton.
Okay. What do they teach you about generally accepted accounting principles in Wharton?
Well, I'm not an accountant, but that they are generally accepted.
Anything else?
That's pretty much what I remember from Accounting 101. So.
Have you told me everything you know about GAP?
Basically. I'm sure I could come up with some creative stuff to kill time, but I'd be doing neither of us a favor in terms of educating ourselves.
Okay, now back to the interview where Kimberly Guilfoyle has someone I consider to be a traitor. I think you do as well. Roger Stone on her show, who was pardoned by Donald Trump. And here she is speaking with Stone, and Stone's like, and Donald Trump's going to come to Washington, D.C. to unify the Republicans on the House with all of their confusion and help us find a speaker. Really? How did that work out, Roger Stone? Play this clip.
I was heartened to see that the president may be heading to Washington because although I don't think he will emerge as speaker, as much as I would love that, of course, but he is a deal maker. He does know how to bring people together and get things done. So I'm hopeful that he will do exactly that.
That's amazing. So if you were
Now, here is a clip of MAGA Republican Representative Spars. She went on the Kimberly Guilfoyle show, and it's just this performative crap from Victoria Spars and Kimberly Guilfoyle. And you have Spars say, the two big issues for her is our debt, the national debt, and the southern border. Okay, well, on the debt, you contributed to $7.8 trillion in the debt, not billion, trillion, the Trump administration and Republicans. So you're responsible for that objectively. And then in the southern border, instead of just saying southern border, southern border, southern border invasion, let's come up with productive solutions. But y'all can't even pick your speaker. Here, play this clip.
Speaker, and who are some of the names that you could see yourself getting behind, and also kind of what is sort of the consensus of your colleagues on how they see this?
Well, listen, I want us to be able to win for the American people, not for Washington, D.C., not worry about political pact, but have stamina, vision, and strategy and win. Because I think American people are with us. And there are two major issues, and national security issues, is our debt. National debt is going to destroy middle class with inflation and everything else, and border security. This is two issues that are very urgent, and they need to be delivered by Republicans. And I think we need to have a strategy because, unfortunately, the other side neglected their duty to the American people and so corrupt. The Senate is so corrupt. There is so much money. They're waiting to get into their packs. They're afraid to do something for the people. And we can say next Congresses and next president going to do it. You know what? We only have control what is today. Let's just say 10 Congresses later. Why do we not punt it even more? This issue has been punted for many years. And we're going to look back and say, were we the same worthless Congress, or are we actually going to be delivered?
Exactly.
And are we not in charge?
And I just want to compare and contrast for a moment MAGA Republican podcasts with the types of podcasts we have here on the MeidasTouch network. So that was Kimberly Guilfoyle's interview with MAGA Republican Victoria Spars. Now let me show you my interview with Democratic Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett, where we talk about the border. Play the clip. One of their talking points is always about the border. You're from Texas. You're from a border state. And what MAGA Republicans always do is they do those performative trips to the border where they act like they roll up their sleeves and they go, how bad is this situation? And I think we can all reflect that it requires a solution. And I think it's important to note that Democrats are solution-oriented, have offered comprehensive immigration reform, and are willing to compromise and negotiate, but MAGA Republicans don't. I mean, can you describe to our viewers just how MAGA Republicans go about the same way. They remove the speaker, attack the Dems, block the ambassadors, block Biden, create the chaos at the border, blame the Democrats. It's just the destruction and the harm is a talking point for them. Like they treat us all like fools. They're the arsonists and then say they want to put out the fire.
Yeah, that's a great way of putting it. Let me be clear. Veronica Escobar currently has a bill that we've been trying to move. Obviously, we can't move anything of substance, not with the Republicans being in control. Veronica is also another Texan. She actually serves and lives in a border community down in El Paso. And so this is someone who lives and sees this every single day. But let me be clear, because I think that most people, number one, don't vote because of foreign policy chops. That's just not one of the things that we do in America. Other places, such as Israel, they absolutely vote for people based upon how critically they think about foreign policy and understand it. And so you need to understand foreign policy to better understand immigration. So there's so many layers to this, but one of those things is that we see Republicans continue to promote this idea of scarcity. Well, if you give money to this country, then there's not enough money to go around. In our country, not true. We have to walk and chew gum at the same time. And ultimately, we can save ourselves a lot of money. We can save a lot of human lives if we make the investments and we make them in a smart and strategic way. Typically, when it comes to foreign aid, only less than 1% of our entire budget goes to foreign aid, less than 1%. But what you need to understand is that what type of person would say, I will risk my life, I will risk the life of my child to get to this other place? It has to be someone who is really facing dire circumstances. And so not only do we need to make sure that the foreign aid is still going around in this world, which absolutely decreases the demand on people coming into our country, we've got to make sure that we're making smart trade deals so that we can support and help people to build a middle class, a place in which they can actually earn an income and take care of their families. And finally, we have to make sure that those modern day democracies are surviving. And so we have surviving and thriving. So we have to make sure that we're making those investments, because when you have a destabilized government, this is what you get. And unfortunately, under the previous administration, who did not understand anything about foreign policy, continually wanted to pal around with Putin as well as Xi, we ended up destabilizing not only the safety of our own country, but the safety and the circumstances of other countries in the world, even our ally countries. This is why we're having to fight over something as basic as Ukraine. We are not the party that is pro-Putin, even though that seemingly is who they are on the other side. We are supposed to stand and help those that have self-determination and believe in freedom. But unfortunately, MAGA doesn't believe in freedom. Unfortunately, they don't believe in democracy. And that's why you see the terrible bills as it relates to reproductive rights for women, as it relates to making sure that people have access to the ballot box, and then after they cast their vote, that their votes aren't subverted. And so we've got to start to understand foreign policy. That's the first part of it. Now, the part that we're in right now is the crisis part. We can't go back and fix all what's going on at this moment. We need to do both. We need to be working and fixing what's going on in other countries to decrease the demand on people coming to our country. But in addition to that, what do we do now? So you've got people that are coming over. What are you going to do? Do you really want our cities struggling and saying we're going to use all of our resources to take care of these migrants? Or should we be helping out the business communities that are still telling us, hey, we have a labor shortage? We could do something so that now these people can pay into the Social Security system that we need to figure out how we are going to actually support, because we've got the boomers that are coming out. There are smart solutions. And we also cannot continue down this road of defund, because we're somehow going to magically balance the budget. If we put some of these people to work, that's more money for Social Security. That's also more money into our taxes. And that also relieves all of these cities that are struggling right now with trying to house these people. These aren't people that are coming to live off our system. These are people that actually want to work and create a better lives for themselves and their families. And so it's time to just get down to it and stop trying to say it's an invasion. That is the last point that I'm going to make about this, because it's infuriating to me to say that somebody who literally has risked their life to get here seeking freedom is invading our border. Let me tell you what an invasion looks like. It looks like what we just saw from Hamas. That is what an invasion looks like. And also, it's further proof that a wall don't stop nobody who has decided that they are going to come into your country and intending to do bad.
So enough with this MAGA Republican boogeyman BS. We want to be solution-oriented, productive, normal. That's what we want to foster here at the MeidasTouch Network. And dancing during insurrections, platforming insurrectionists on your show, spreading fear is despicable. And there you have it. The very deeply unwell Kimberly Guilfoyle. I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Hit subscribe. We're on our way to 2 million subscribers thanks to your support. Check us out at patreon.com/MeidasTouch. Have a good day.
Hey, Midas Mighty. Love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram at MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.